Okay, so another common question that I've been getting is the change in personality and how we relate to other people. So I think there are some misconceptions around this topic, and there are a few reasons for it. So the person each has its own individual personality. Maybe that will transform over time, because a lot of that is based on environmental contributions and so on. Maybe some of it's inherent, but the personality, the person, individuality of the person in the relative sense is still there. The personality can change because, for example, if a lot of your personality was based off of some behaviour or ideas that were motivated by self-seeking, then when that self-seeking is gone, then the interest in pursuing these endeavours can be lost, leading to a seeming change in personality or interests or whatever. I think the part of the misconception is that people like Eckhart Tolle and or like the popular Mooji, who have this amazing kind of sense of peace around them, but they're also somewhat sedated. But even with them, when you watch enough of their talks, they'll have cycles of energetic energy. So sometimes you watch one of Eckhart Tolle's videos, I think that's how you say his name, I'm not sure, and he'll be like completely super present, and then the other videos he's still present, but he's more animated and more jokey and stuff like that. So yeah, the person still has its kind of fluctuations. The personality has its fluctuations. The difference is that they're not, the fluctuations aren't dependent on circumstances, environment, other people, objects of attachment, and so on. So I notice in myself I have kind of two modes now. Like peaceful excitement, peaceful high energy, and peaceful sedated or peaceful blank presence. If that makes a sense. It's just two modes. The peace is there. It's just and it could sometimes be, some people always say to me, are you alright? Are you alright? You seem a bit quiet, you seem a bit off. Whereas I'm totally fine, but it can be perceived as the pure emptiness. It can be perceived as I don't know, just something's wrong with you. And then the energetic version of peacefulness can be perceived as neurosis or nervousness by other people, because that's how they relate to how you're behaving. That's what they would expect to be experiencing themselves based on how they imagine themselves to be when they're behaving like you are. Sorry, that was a really complicated sentence to explain something really simple. Digression, by the way. So, like, even there, like, sometimes I'm talking, right, And it's not like I'm doing the talking. I'm thinking thoughts and converting them into words, and then the words are being spoken by me in the effort. Like there, that sentence, particularly that silly long sentence there, words were coming out, words were being spoken, and I'm not speaking them. It's not like I'm speaking them, it's just like it's happening. There's no effort there whatsoever. It's a really amazing feeling. It's like you're just letting it happen. Very amazing feeling. But anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, the difference is the moods aren't dictated by other things. The mood is steady, and you get these modes. So it doesn't mean that you don't have to have a personality. It doesn't mean that you can't have a laugh. It doesn't mean you can't talk nonsense and have a joke and have banter. It doesn't mean you can't have a colourful personality. Doesn't mean you can't be silly. It doesn't mean you have to be serious all the time. These are misconceptions. I think. So, for example, where was I going with the Muji and the Eckhart Tolle? Yeah. I mean, if you look at these guys, they're just chilled. They're just chilled, and that's them. I mean, I think Muji was a talented artist before he became awakened. Eckhart Tolle was I think he was he studied languages and history or something like that. So, you know, this might not be true, right? But just to illustrate it, I mean, the type of person that's going to be interested in art and languages and history probably might not be the type of person that does extreme sports like I did. You know, there's differences in personalities there. The type of person that is, let's say, a rapper, right, isn't gonna display the same personality after waking up as the type of person who is a yogi or something. So you see where I'm going with this. It almost adds an extra dimension or extra features to your personality, because you almost, not that you have the control really, but you almost have the ability to shift your personality to whatever is needed in life. Like, you know, you can go into, so you maybe, like that video I did yesterday, that's a topic that I know a lot about. That's a topic that I'm very interested in, and I was before awakening, so I'll become more animated when talking about that, more energetic when talking about that. Whereas a topic like, for example, like when I did that guided meditation thing, there was a point during that where I actually couldn't see the camera. The camera was set up in front of me like it is now, but I couldn't see that as a separate object. I couldn't see the camera. And then you get this kind of blankness, this kind of, it almost looks like a vacant blankness there when you look into the eyes of the person, because the individual has been switched off temporarily. The individual's been switched, the person's been put on standby. So the person's, although still there, it's not coming through, it's not an animating force that lives through the person. Like I said about these thought forms that take control of the behaviour and thoughts of the person. These are manifesting what seems to be the personality of the person, but it's, you know, a personality borrowed from an all too common thought form. and you see these patterns in people, loads of different people with the same pattern. It's the same pattern. It's not them. It's not them. It's not even the person. It's not even the person, but we know it's not. What is pretending to be the person isn't the person anyway. And you realise that it's difficult to say, like, when you're not the person. You're not the person. I'm not the person. Okay, so when there's that understanding, all of this kind of stuff and even that question becomes irrelevant. It becomes irrelevant. It's not important anymore. It's not important. What is the person made of? Why is this person like? These can be interesting thoughts to go through. Interesting to analyse, but it is not important anymore. And you can sense peace, even maybe through. I've noticed that I can sense it through, even social media, even talking to people via email or whatever, without even being in person. There's something in you that you can sense the energy of that. It sounds stupid, but the energy of that person, you can get a sense for it from it at a distance. And why am I saying that? I don't know. I can't remember. It's very bright. Why am I saying that? I can't remember. I'm going to try not to swear in my videos anymore, because I swear quite a lot, but I want to kind of stop that. But yeah, how we relate to people, we find a lot of because they're not motivated by the fear and the suffering of the person socially, a lot of the inhibitions that existed there before, that were there to protect the feelings of the person, fall away. And that might not always be a good thing. Like, for example, something that you were meaning to say or point out because it's right. So it's objectively the best information that can be communicated, but it's going to trigger people. It's going to create social drama. You might just go ahead and say this because you're not the person isn't threatened anymore by the repercussions, because there's no suffering there. There's no strong identification. So it requires a bit of awareness, the social awareness there, to discern what is the best way to act. And some of this is intuitive, and some of it still comes from thought used as a tool, because thought still needs to be there. I mean, we need to function in this world, and the thought is an amazing tool to be used, not to become a semi-autonomous entity that runs your life for you, based on dysfunction. That's what we're trying to avoid. And you can see how you don't get bored anymore. So you can see how some spiritual awakened people might seem boring because they're not bored by things. They will maybe not be motivated to do something that they might have previously found had to be done, because otherwise it would be boring. Life would be boring. So you can see how people would fall into a kind of sedation, like an inactivity. I can totally see that. Again, just based on the personality, you might be very interested in the look of things, the feel of things, the experience of things. Like, say for example, sport might not be motivated by the competition any longer. You might not be self-seeking through status, So, but you might still compete in a sport because the experience of doing that is interesting and pleasant and fun. Like, for example, myself, my identity was, a lot of it was based off of sports and identification with the physical body. But since this shift, I've actually not even done anything, which probably isn't good, but the motivation isn't there at the minute, and that's fine. But before, I would have beaten myself up because I thought, oh, you need to be, why are you not doing this, and so on. That would have actually caused me suffering. Losing physical shape in the body would have actually caused me suffering because I thought I needed it to feel special or something. I don't know, it sounds pathetic, but that's actually how I felt before. But I know I'll go back to it. I know I'll go back to it because like I explained in a very early video, there was the reason beyond the dysfunctional ego patterns that I actually participated in these things, and it was because the sensation experience of it allowed me some glimpses into presence. Now I have that without it. It's not a crutch anymore, but it's an interesting flavour to life that can be explored, as with anything. But yeah, you can still slag your mates, so you can still have banter, you can still take the mick out of people. I'm trying not to swear here. But not motivated by ego. You can still have a laugh, you can still be silly. You can still engage in all these things. These things are all still available, but that dysfunction, that need, that attachment, that identification is not there to the extent that it was before. And you can switch between, once you get enough practice, you can drop straight into pure presence. You can switch the person off if you want. You can put the person on to standby. Just merge yourself with everything else. Or you can just let the self act as it does. The behaviour might change, it might be different, but it's still there. Anyway, that'll do for now.